Redeemer of Souls is the 17th studio album by the heavy metal band Judas Priest, which was released on July 8, 2014. It is their first album since 2008's Nostradamus and also their first without founding guitarist K.K. Downing, who left the band in 2011 and was replaced by new guitarist Richie Faulkner. The album sold around 32,000 copies in the United States in its first week of release to land at position number 6 on the Billboard 200 chart, the band's highest charting position in the U.S. after the group's previous album, Nostradamus, debuted at number 11. This marks the band's first top 10 album debut in the U.S. Background: on January 27, 2011, it was announced that Judas Priest was in the process of writing new material for what was thought to be the group's final album due to their previously announced farewell tour entitled the Epitaph World Tour, but the band clarified that the Epitaph Tour was by no means the end of the band. Speaking at a press conference in Los Angeles on May 26, of the new material, Glenn Tipton said, "It's quite a mixed bag. Really, there's more sentiment on this album. In a way, I suppose, it's also our farewell album, although it might not be our last one. There are some anthems on there, which pay tribute to our fans." In April 2011, founding member K.K. Downing announced his departure from the band, citing differences with the band and management and a breakdown in their relationship as the reason. Richie Faulkner, guitarist for Lauren Harris Band, was announced as his replacement. In an August 2011 interview with Billboard, Halford explained that he and Tipton had about 12 or 14 tracks completely mapped out for a new studio album. He went on to say that 4 of those were already recorded and mixed, and suggested a new album would be out the next year. However, the year ended without seeing a release. In another interview with Billboard in August 2012, Halford said that the band was taking its time with the album, and did not give a definite release date, saying, "I'm of the attitude it'll be ready when it's ready. I don't think we're going to slack off. We're determined to do a lot of work and be just as dedicated as we've always been and take a lot of care and attention with all the songs. We're not going to just bang this one out, so to speak." On December 22, 2013, Judas Priest released a short Christmas message on their official website, which confirmed that they would be releasing the album sometime in 2014. Then, on March 17, 2014 at the Ronnie James Dio Awards in Los Angeles, California, Rob Halford announced that the album had been finished. On April 28, 2014, the band revealed the title for the album, as well as releasing the title track for streaming on their official website. The track listing was announced 4 days later. At the end of June, a 20-date U.S. tour supporting the album was confirmed. Album information: guitarist Glenn Tipton said that fans should not expect wild experimentation. "Sometimes in the past we may have come under fire for being too adventurous musically, so we have listened," he said. From start to finish, Redeemer of Souls is 18 songs of pure classic Priest metal. When asked why the bonus tracks are only included on the deluxe edition of the album and not on the standard release, Tipton explains. "They are all great songs," he says. "The reason they are not on the album is because the 13 that we chose are very consistent with what we wanted to do, which was release an undisputable heavy metal album. The others, they are not lightweight by any chance, but they've got a different feel, a different texture. So it's not a case of trying to rip the kids off and trying to get more money for an extra album, it's just a case of, these 5 tracks seem to deserve to go on their own CD, and that's what we did." Interviews: when speaking to Artisan News at the VIP listening party for the Ronnie James Dio tribute album This Is Your Life, and awards gala at the Avalon in Hollywood, California on March 17, 2014, Rob Halford gave a statement about the album being finished. "The record is finished. It's absolutely finished as of today." He added, "It's a relief. It's a relief because whenever Priest makes an album, like any band, you put your heart and soul into it. It is that typical blood, sweat and tears. It's not an easy thing to do 40 years later. But Priest has always been up for the challenge of that, and it's one of things that we love to do more than anything else as we move on through our metal years. So this is a great time for Priest, 40th anniversary, a brand new record. Live couldn't be better. In a 2013 interview with Billboard.com, Halford described the album's sound as hard. It's heavy. It's something we think our Priest fans will be thrilled with. We know we have a reputation to maintain, and we know we have to deliver something really strong and solid. The album is going to be full of all the great things you love about Judas Priest. I don't think I can say anything more than that without being hung, drawn and quartered. When talking to VH1 Radio Network's Dave Bussner, Halford said about what fans can expect, "We felt it was very important to follow up 2008's Nostradamus, the last release, and that was a concept experiment and it was a real success for us and the fans loved it, but I think our fans and ourselves as a band, we want to get back to the side of Priest that we haven't heard for a few years and re-emphasize and remake those big, heavy metal statements again." When asked how it has been collaborating on new music with Faulkner, Halford told Guitar World in a 2012 interview, "Really, really strong. Exciting. He's riffing and saying, 'Robbie, I am thinking of this and this and this.' It's really exciting to have that kind of energy, because you feed off of it." He added, "Ritchie went through the ritual on the Epitaph tour, did great work on stage, the fans embraced him, so it's now time to see what we're capable of, the writing trio of Glenn, Tipton and Ritchie and myself." Regarding whether technology has changed the band's songwriting process at all, Halford said, "It's dangerous to walk around with a flash drive on a bunch of keys. Laughs to a great extent, it doesn't really change. The technology is amazing in terms of the advantages it brings to music now, some of it good, some of it very bad. It's all about discipline and self-belief, determination, wanting to do the best you can do and not accepting anything that's below par. We've always had that attitude in Priest. We've always felt really strongly about any track that goes out for our fans. We're still doing it like we always have, firing up the riffs and finding a vocal melody to go with it. Me going into me wonderful world of the Roget's Thesaurus and trying to come up with a new lyric and a new idea. And that's what we've been doing for 4 decades. Track listing. All songs written and composed by Glenn Tipton, Rob Halford and Ritchie Faulkner. Personnel, Judas Priest, Rob Halford Euro vocals, Glenn Tipton Euro guitar, synthesizer, Ritchie Faulkner Euro guitar, Ian Hill Euro bass guitar, Scott Travis Euro drums. Production, produced and mixed by Mike Exeter and Glenn Tipton, mastered by Dick Beetham, artwork by Mark Wilkinson, special effects, Thunder and Dragonaut, by David Farmer, references.